Well, at least 5 million people have travelled to watch the total solar eclipse across North America. The eclipse turned day into night, first starting in Mexico. The whole eclipse lasted around 4 minutes. Cheers were heard from children as the moon crossed paths with the sun. In Texas, almost 3,000 people sat in camp chairs with solar viewers on, eventually casting them into darkness for several minutes. Arkansas was next to witness the eclipse, though not experiencing it for as long as the previous areas. Hundreds packed into stands in Illinois to watch the event. The eclipse has also passed over Indianapolis. Ohio was the next to experience total darkness. Some places celebrated with fireworks. In Niagara Falls and parts of New York, cloud anxiety was at its height, but the clouds parted just in time. And it was cheers and pitch black darkness over Vermont. For more, joining us is Glen, Nagle, Outreach Manager at the CSIRO's Canberra Deep Space Network facility. Glen, good to see you. Thanks for your time. We are generally pretty obsessed with eclipses, aren't we? How did you rate this one from the pictures you've seen?
Yeah, the pictures were spectacular, not only from the ground, but actually also from space. The International Space Station had the ultimate view, seeing the actual moon passing in front of the sun and then looking down at the Earth and seeing the moon's shadow passing across the planet at about 50 kilometres a second. It was just stunning.
It's fascinating to hear from people who are watching the eclipse on the ground just how eerie that experience is, but also just how very cold it gets almost immediately.
Yeah, in some places in Texas where it was about 36 degrees in sunlight, as soon as the eclipse happened, the temperature dropped by 10 degrees Celsius. And so 10 degree change down to 26 degrees, you really notice the effect of the moon's shadow passing across the planet. And this is what a lot of people sort of don't know about eclipses, is the dramatic change that it makes. Not only for a few minutes, but it literally is day to night. Even the animals who are normally nighttime suddenly go, it's nighttime, I've got to get out there, but for only that 4 minutes.
Fascinating. Last year we had the eclipse, which was mainly experienced in Exmouth in Western Australia. When's the next scheduled eclipse for those eclipse hunters who might be keen to witness all of this for themselves?
Yeah, so there's two fantastic eclipses coming up. 22nd of July, 2028, the Great Sydney Eclipse, running all the way from Broome in Western Australia, right across the country and passing almost directly over Sydney. And then just 2 years later, 25th of November, 2030, there'll be the Great Brisbane Eclipse running all the way from South Australia, right across the country and passing over Brisbane. So two great chances, and let's hope for clear weather.
Oh, that'd be great to see 2028, 2030, putting it in the diary, Glen, because it is amazing, isn't it, to see people travelling right around the world to view this for themselves. And people get pretty emotional watching them, don't they? I mean, it's a pretty strange phenomenon to watch.
Yeah. We think back to thousands of years ago when people were looking at the sky and suddenly the sun disappeared. You can imagine the terror that happened for those people. And there were certainly people at the time probably used that to their advantage. And then so many religious ceremonies and the Druids with Stonehenge and a whole range of different sort of cults and things have developed from it. We understand it much more from a scientific standpoint today. And we have Chinese astronomers who have done observations of the solar eclipses for thousands of years. We're able to predict them many, many decades into the future. So it has become an important part of our society, our whole culture here on planet Earth, but also important to our science because we learn a lot more about that relationship between the Earth, Moon and the Sun. We learn more about our own planet. We learn more about the greater solar system. So a great chance for people to look up and just take that wonders of the universe into their souls.